Hello, and welcome back to the Bountifully Balanced Biz podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about my favorite tool to attract abundance, peace, and prosperity. Peace being like the center of that. Because without peace, what is the point of having material things? What is the point of achieving your goals? What is the point of doing anything if you do not have peace in yourself, in your mind, in your heart? So this is my favorite tool to have peace, abundance, prosperity, to feel good every day. I think it's really important, that we talk about this, because one thing I can't stand is just like this whole do, accomplish, money, and like the lack of just focusing on being whole, right? Like, yes, finances are important, but like I said, what is the point if you don't have peace? And true prosperity to me is having not just being able, to financially be comfortable, but to have peace, to have good health, to feel good, to enjoy your life, right? I don't think we were put here to not enjoy ourselves, right? So this is going to be something that you may have heard before, but I promise you, no one's ever talked about it like this, okay? So stick with me. One thing that I constantly hear all the gurus, all the people who, have accomplished lots of success, one thing that they always come back to is gratitude, right? And please don't click off, because listen, it's not the same old tired conversation. Gratitude is definitely a state where we are able to receive, where we're able to show God, right, the creator of the universe, that we are content and happy and able to hold what it is that we do have, so that we can create space for more that what we desire. Here's the thing with gratitude. People can tell you to feel gratitude all day long, but how do you actually stay in a state of gratitude, right? Especially when you feel like things aren't going exactly the way you would like them to go, or just when you're feeling like stressed and worried, right? Like tense. It's really hard to just make yourself feel grateful. Like, you can write a list of all the things you're grateful for all day long. That does not make you feel gratitude, and it most certainly doesn't keep you in this state of gratitude, right? I know I've certainly been there. You write this list in the morning of all the things that you're grateful for, and then you go around the rest of the day like aggravated or annoyed, or like cussing yourself, people in your head, or just like ready to punch your computer like I used to do. You're not in that state of gratitude if you're constantly having these negative thoughts and these negative thought patterns, right? So the real question is not, should we be grateful or not? We already know to be grateful. The real question is, how do you stay in that state of gratitude so that you can create that vibrational frequency to hold more, to bring in more good, right? So let's talk about what's holding us back from that, right? Like these negative thought patterns. It's this state of constantly like worrying, right? Being hypervigilant. So being hypervigilant is always like being on a lookout for what threats. Really, that's what it is. Like your nervous system and your fight or flight response is on the lookout for constant threats. Now, it is normal for your nervous system to be out on the lookout for threats. But when we enter a state of hypervigilance, we're stuck in an anxiety pattern. Our nervous system is stuck. Right here in the middle is where a nice baseline of regulation is. This is where we are feeling good. We can escalate, de-escalate nice and naturally and smooth. And we're even if something upsets us or something happens, we're still able to go back to regulation. We're still able to feel good, right? Things kind of like roll off our shoulder more, right? We're unbothered. When you're hypervigilant, you're up here. Like baseline is here, you're up here way above it. And you're just always heightened, like worrying about what could go wrong, what's wrong with everything that's going on right now, why something isn't good. Like you try to relax and you can't because you're just always worried about something, or you're upset about something's irking you or aggravating you. Like that is a hypervigilant nervous system. Someone who's always on edge. These are typically people who are like very type A personalities, and they're just always kind of like a little irritated, I've certainly been there, and I know a lot of people struggle with this. Just very, very on edge and they can also look negative. They can look like they're negative people, like pointing out the negative in everything. That is also a hypervigilant nervous system, right? And being afraid, being worried that something's going to go wrong. So every time you start to feel like grateful for something or enjoy something, your brain comes up with all these thoughts of what ifs and what could possibly go wrong. And you almost become afraid to feel good. So when we get in this state of hypervigilance, your nervous system gets stuck in that state, and the nervous system doesn't feeling safe. So it never feels like we're good, like everything's cool, because when you get in that state where you feel like everything is cool, you're almost waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're like, okay, everything's good. Wait, what's going on? Like, this isn't good. Like, we need to be on the lookout because something's bound to go wrong, right? That's what that hypervigilant nervous system is always doing. It's always waiting for the other shoe to drop. So you never feel feeling safe. And so you're always up here, and you never really get to experience this baseline of regulation, because you may come down and feel good, but then, like I said, those thoughts come up and then we go right back up. So this is really just fear at its core. This is just being afraid, right? Of whatever, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. It does matter, because we need to identify what these fears are, but it could be anything, right? So we know we're not supposed to be in a state of fear, right? We know 1 Timothy tells us that God does not give us a spirit of fear, but what? Power, love, and a sound mind. And I love that verse, and I actually love the meaning of sound mind, right? Because what does a sound mind mean, right? This is a state that you're in where you're clearly thinking, understanding right and wrong. You're in control of your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors, because we know that that's the lineage, like that's what dictates the other. Your thoughts dictate how you feel, your emotions dictate your behaviors, what you do, right? So being in control of those thoughts makes you in control of your emotions and your behaviors, and that makes you in control of your life, right? So I love that. I love this meaning here too. A sound mind is alert and sober, focused on the eternal hope we have in Jesus Christ. I love that. Focus on the eternal hope. It's like eternal hope of Jesus Christ is like just forever blissful, like forever endeavor, just like at peace. We're cool, like we're good, like God has our back, we're good, right? And that's how we should feel. We shouldn't be walking around on edge or always afraid. We're not supposed to be in a state of fear. We're not called to be afraid. And so having a sound mind is just getting rid of these fears. Now, we're always going to have to be on top of this, right? We're always going to have to clear fears, and we're always going to have to remove limiting beliefs and blocks. But being on top of it, and majority of the time having a sound mind, which to me is being in that baseline of regulation where you are totally in control of your thoughts and your emotions and you're feeling good, that is how you can enter and stay in a state of gratitude, right? So how do we do this? How do we go from hypervigilant to that baseline of regulation? And it's not always hypervigilant too. Like there's the other side of this coin where you're downregulated and you're more in a depressive pattern, right? So hypervigilant is all up here, way above the baseline, and depressive pattern is down here. So when you're hypervigilant, your nervous system is afraid to relax because it's looking for the threat. It's like, we cannot calm down, we cannot relax because we need to be on alert. We need to have our head on a swivel. That's what your nervous system is saying when you're up here. When you're down here in a depressive pattern, your nervous system doesn't want to feel. It's like, let's just numb out, let's totally disconnect, let's totally disengage and disassociate, and let's just stay here and just feel nothing, right? So that's not good either. And sometimes that can look like what's called a freeze response, which is actually at the top of your fight or flight response. So a freeze response often looks depressive, like, numbed out, demotivated, the type of person who looks lazy, right? That's often very much a freeze response as well. And so we need to get out of that, and then we need to be able to down regulate all the way down to baseline. And we do this with somatic therapy and really digesting what we're feeling, what we're going through with all of our channels of awareness. A lot of people stay stuck, like either depressed or anxious because they're trying to heal from trauma or from issues that they have with just their mind alone. And that's like basically like your talk therapy and all of that. Like that's just using the mind. And I always say this, like trying to heal emotionally, mentally with just the mind alone is like trying to digest your food with just your stomach. Like there's so much more in the digestive system, right? You need your pancreas, right, to produce the digestive enzymes. You need your liver, you need your mouth. Like there's so many things going on that you need everything to come together to digest your food. It's not just the stomach alone. Same thing with trying to remove trauma or heal from trauma or limiting beliefs. You can't do it with just the mind alone. There's so much more at play here. There's so much more to us than just our thoughts. And often we get stuck in a thought loop pattern. And so using the different channels of awareness and getting your nervous system to be able to escalate and de-escalate and get back into the healthy rhythm that it wants to be in is really the key to getting this trauma out of our body. And that's what somatic therapy does, because a healthy nervous system, like I said, that baseline of regulation is able to go up, come back down, go up, come back down, but stay right here in this baseline. And that's how you're able to stay in regulation. And I really felt the difference once I started to remove these blocks. And I really was able to identify all the times where I was like stuck in that hypervigilant pattern and I was afraid to relax. I really couldn't stay relaxed. I remember I would feel good. I would do my breath work. I would do my EFT and it helped. It definitely helped. But then like I would be feeling good and trying to just be in the moment and be grateful. And then I'd be like afraid, like, hold on, like we can't just chill. All the what ifs start popping up and I hated that. And that's what really stopped me from being able to stay in a state of gratitude. And that's what was blocking me from being able to move forward and achieve my goals. And one thing that I will continue to do here on this podcast is give you guys the tools to continue to regulate the nervous system and remove these blocks. So that's what really this is about. And I love it so much. And it's helped me so much. So that's one thing I will always continue to do on here. So one thing I also did was I prayed a lot and I asked God to reveal these fears and to remove them and to help me remove them. And that really led me to somatic therapy. And it's been such a game changer. It's been absolutely amazing. If you guys want to experience what somatic therapy is like, call it my subconscious reboot, and it will walk you through a whole somatic therapy session. And you just need a little bit of time alone and you will walk away from that like a different person. And it's totally free. The link is in the description box or in the show notes. Go ahead and give it a shot and see if you feel a difference, right? It can't hurt. Just see if it makes you feel better and see if things start changing in your world as well. One thing I that really like made me realize, like solidify, like, oh my God, like this is real, like this works, is actually a really funny story. So we got my daughter this car. My daughter's 2 years old and we got her one of those, cars you drive around. And we spent all this money on this car and I was so excited for her to get it. And she gets it and then she's afraid to sit in the car. And I was like, why is she afraid to sit in this car? And I would continue to try to get her in the car and continue to try to get her in the car. And she was afraid. She would not get in the car. She would not do it. And I was like, what is going on? Like, why won't she get in this car? We spent all this money on this car. She won't get in. And it was so frustrating, but she was afraid. She couldn't, she just wouldn't do it. She refused to sit in this car. And I was, working on some of these blocks and working through some of these things, right? And really starting like to deepen my journey, my healing journey, and my walk with Christ as well, right? Side by side. It's amazing how these two things overlapped with each other. It's like they just came together, right? And I just love that. I feel like that's really, I don't know, like the missing piece of the puzzle for so many people, right? Is having these two worlds come together. So one day I had heard a podcast, the Money Mindset and Manifestation podcast. I think her name, Marley Rose, I believe is her name. She's absolutely amazing. I absolutely love her podcast. It's funny because I found her recently and we have so many things that like in common. It's actually crazy. So I was just blown away when I found her. I was like, this is so, I didn't want to use the word serendipitous. What's the other word? It's not serendipity. Synchronistic. Yeah, it's like such synchronicity. I was like, I found this girl and she does like something that is so similar to what I do. And we have so many things in common, and it's crazy. But she's absolutely amazing. And she did this podcast on gratitude. And, talking about her story with gratitude. And I was like, okay, like, let me like get in a state of gratitude. Like, let me just like really feel this, right? And this is after I had removed so many blocks with my own sessions. And I had been working on myself for quite some time. And I was just in the room, like I was about to work out, I was by myself. And the sun was shining in from the windows, and I was just like bathing in it, and I loved it. I was like, okay, let's really get present. Like let's really get present here. And I started dancing. Like the music was on. It was just like lounge music. It was nothing, specific. And I just started dancing. And I was like, let's do a dance of gratitude, right? And I just start like letting my body do its thing. And I'm just doing my own little dance, and I'm bathing in the sun, and I'm smiling, and I'm like, yes, I'm really feeling it. And I started to feel like a little kid. Like my mind started to go back to when I was a child. Like just that free feeling, right? Like I feel like, especially us millennials, we love our childhood so much. A lot of us do. A lot of us love our childhood so much, and we're so like hell-bent on like nostalgia, and we want to connect with our childhood so much, and we're always looking for like, TV shows and movies and things like that to bring us back to our childhood. And like nothing has made me connect to that inner child than just really, truly being present and just being grateful. Like I truly felt like a little kid again, and just so free, just mentally free. Like all of that burden just like lifted off of me, and I was so free. I'm not gonna get emotional, but it was so freeing, like right there. And then I felt that fear try to creep in. Like my nervous system was like, hold on, you gotta be alert, you gotta be ready for what? Like God has my back, God's got me, Jesus has me, and I'm good. I don't have to be on edge. I can relax, right? I don't have to be ready to fight or flight. I don't have to. I can relax and be present in this moment, have a sound mind in this moment. And I felt my nervous system try to go up, right? Try to escalate a little bit. And then it came right back down. And that was the best feeling ever. And then I just kept dancing. And it was because you'll notice, like, if you start doing this with yourself, you'll start to notice, like, try to sit in gratitude and see how long it is before negative thoughts or fear start to come up. Some people, it's instantly. Like, some people cannot relax at all. And the more you do this, you'll start to notice the longer you can be in those relaxed states. It was just like the longest period I went with like nothing, like no negative thoughts, no fears, no worries. And it was just so blissful, right? That eternal bliss was like the eternal hope of Jesus Christ. Like I love that. I just love that saying. And that's what it felt like. Just like eternal bliss, right? Because you're in the right here, right now. It's the only thing that's real. It's the only thing that matters. It's right here, right now is the only thing that's actually happening, and the only thing that's actually real right now. And I loved it. I loved it. And so I did this whole dance and this whole session, right, with myself, and I felt good. And I was done, I went and I checked my phone to see what time it was. And I got a text from my husband, and it was a picture of my daughter sitting in the car that she refused to get into because she was afraid. Like in that moment where I just like released all my fear, like my daughter was able to overcome her fear in the exact same moment. I can't think of anything that's like more confirmational. Like God like spoke to me in that moment. He was like, you need to be clear of this for her too, not just for you, but for her. And it just also shows like how connected we are to our children. Like we're so connected, and they feed off our emotions, especially as moms. Like they're connected to us. We shared an organ with them, like we're always going to be connected. And just like the moment I let go of my fear, she let go of her fear. Like I just can't think of anything more beautiful than that. It was just so, like, it was just confirmation. Let it go and just sit and live in that blissful gratitude and allow it, right? Allow yourself to feel safe. And if you're listening to this or you're watching this, that is what I want you to take away. Like, allow yourself to feel safe. God has you. Jesus has you. Go through life with a sound mind. Make it your goal to start every day and to live every day with that sound mind. And that is the key to just staying in that state of gratitude. And that's what will open you up to be able to receive more blessings, to receive more abundance. And it doesn't have to be hard, right? It doesn't have to be hard. It may feel hard in the beginning, and that's okay. Some things are just hard to work through, and it's okay. It's a process. And some things it may just be of a snap of a finger. God can take anything away instantly. You can ask God to take away something right now and he can do it, or it might be a process. Either way, it's possible, but either way, it doesn't matter because it will get done. You just have to be willing and ready to do the inner work and just allow yourself to feel safe, right? You need to be able to make it a priority, put in that time and make it your job to do it. And then it will reflect in every aspect of your life, right? Even just that alone, my daughter just being able to overcome a fear made all that work I did, all that inner work, it just made it worth it, But there's so much more in it for me. You know what I mean? There's so many more blessings I'm gonna receive from it. And you, of course, can receive them too. You also are capable of doing it, and you also are able to receive blessings beyond, exceedingly abundantly beyond your dreams, right? Beyond what you can imagine. You just got to make it a priority. That's what I want to leave you with today. Allow yourself to feel 100% gratitude. Allow yourself to feel safe and know that God did not give us a spirit of fear. Anytime you're feeling afraid or fear, it is not of God, and we don't have to hold it, right? That doesn't mean that we'll never feel fear again, but it doesn't have to be stuck in our bodies. It doesn't have to be stuck in our nervous system. We can get it out and then get that nervous system back to that healthy baseline of regulation, and then spend majority of our time in that state. And that's when all the blessings and all the abundance and all the peace and all the prosperity will come flowing into your life. So yes, I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did enjoy this, please don't forget to like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review. It would mean the world to me, especially if you really got something from this. Please leave a comment below, leave us a 5-star review, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.